for joining us this evening. Thank you. My name is Jiao Mai again. I am the Queen's recruitment representative based in Vietnam, but I'm overseeing the whole region of Southeast Asia. Been to Manila, Philippines once, and always looking forward to be back sometime soon in the fall. But really excited to be here today with my colleague Aiden, and I'm just going to pass it over to Aiden for him to introduce himself a little bit before we can get started with our presentation. Over to you, Aiden.
Awesome. Thank you, Chao. Hi, folks. Thank you so much for joining us today. As Chao mentioned, my name is Aiden, and I'm actually based out of Canada, but I represent our UK campus, which we'll be talking more about later. Really happy to see you all. Unfortunately, I haven't had the pleasure yet to make my way over to the Philippines, but it's on my travel list. So now that we can, go places again, hopefully that'll happen within the next few years. All right, back to you, Chao.
Thanks, Aiden. Let me just go ahead and share my presentation again. So are you able to see it? Yes? Great, awesome. So let's get started with my presentation. So the presentation is going to be split into two parts, with me presenting about Queen's University in general first. And then I'm going to pass it over to Aiden for him to talk a bit more about our UK campus, which is very cool value-added feature that we offer to Queen's students, especially to international students. That I think that really helpful for you to know when you look for options to experience a different learning setting, and also to save cost and money while studying abroad. So let me just get started with my part first. So Queen's is one of the oldest degree-granting institutions in Canada, founded in 1841. So up to this point, we have over 180 years of educating future leaders. Just to give you a sense of our reputation and academic excellence among other universities in Canada. So we're in the top 5 best universities in Canada. And some other facts, we also rank in the top 5 among medical doctoral universities within Canada, according to Maclean magazine in 2022. So Queen's is a mid-sized university of around over 25,000 students in total, and 12% of which is international students coming from over 108 countries around the world. We have a lot of opportunities for students to go beyond and to gain international experiences to become global citizen. And one of the very common things that Queen's students engage is to participate in one of the 220 study abroad opportunities that we offer at more than 50 partner universities in 47 countries around the world. So Queen's actually have 2 different campuses, and the picture right here is showing you the very beautiful campus in Kingston, Ontario. This is the main campus in Canada, and according to BBC Travel, Kingston was ranked as one of the top 5 best college towns in the world. So Kingston itself is a very residential city of around 150,000 population in total. The campus itself, as you can see on the picture, is very beautiful campus, made of beautiful limestone buildings. Kingston is a historic city, and Queen's itself is a very historic university as well. So we have right on campus, we have 18 residence buildings. So if you stay in residence, you will be living right on campus. The downtown core is only 10 minutes walk away from the campus. And right in the downtown, we have a very dynamic environment, student hub, where there are a lot of good restaurants, bars, and coffee shops, a lot of places where you can hang out with your friends. So the city is small, but it offers all the amenities and facilities that you would need to live and study while you study it in Kingston. So this map to give you a sense of where Kingston located at in Canada. So Kingston again is the city of the province of Ontario, which is the biggest province in biggest provinces in Canada. So Kingston is pretty much halfway between Toronto and Ottawa. So we are 2.5 hours away from Toronto, which is the biggest metropolitan city in Canada. And we are 1.5 hours away from Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada. We are actually only 45 minutes away from the border between US and Canada, and 5 hours driving away from New York City. So it's really accessible for you when you study in Kingston. And if you want to travel to these big cities and to get to discover a little bit, then it's very accessible. You can travel to these cities by train, bus, and also flights as well. So a lot of options there. This is a really exciting campus that Aidan going to be share a lot more information in the latter part. But so this, just to give you a sense, this campus is located in Essex, UK, which is 1.5 hours away from central London. This campus focuses on experiential learning, immersive learning setting. So once you choose to come here, you get to experience a totally different learning setting, and also get to check out the UK, the Europe, get to learn about different culture, meeting with different people coming from different continents. And also on the financial perspective, this campus also provide you great opportunity to save significantly on costs in terms of tuition and living expenses as well. So Queen's is a comprehensive university that offers a wide variety of programs. So at Queen's, we have the biggest faculty, which is the Faculty of Arts and Science, that offers more than 2,600 degree options. So usually if you choose to study either arts or science, the first year going to be really flexible. You got a chance to choose different courses, up to 5 different courses of your choice. So you got great opportunities there for you to check out different disciplines, different areas before you get to commit one to declare as your major. Within the Faculty of Arts and Science, we have different direct entry programs, meaning if you're interested in this program, you have to apply to one of these programs directly, and that includes life science, music theater, computing, fine art, kinesiology, and concurrent education. Now, concurrent education is the program for those who are interested in becoming teachers in the future. So with this program, you could be graduating with 2 bachelor degrees, one in either arts or science, music or fine art, and the other one is the teaching degree. And this is the shortest pathway that you can find in Canada, that you can complete 2 bachelor degrees within 5 years and 1 semester. Commerce is one of the top, Queen's Commerce is one of the top business programs in Canada. So if you do a little bit of research, you will see Smith School of Business of Queen's gonna pop up on Google as one of the top choices. Within commerce, we have different options for you to choose from. So we have pretty much everything: finance, business, international business, marketing, accounting, entrepreneurship, management, etc. And one of the most competitive programs at Queen's are honors in health sciences. So for those who are interested in medical related fields, so these are the really great options for you to choose. Right in Kingston, we have a lot of lab facility. So we have 3 different hospitals. So a lot of opportunities for you to gain hands-on experience and got to practice on site. We also have the School of Engineering that offers 10 engineering disciplines. And within the School of Engineering, we have 2 direct entry programs. And these are new programs of Queen's that we offer, which includes electrical and computer engineering and mechatronics and robotics engineering. Now, the mechatronics and robotics engineering is, so I believe Queen's is the only or the first institution in Canada that offers this program. So for those of you who are interested in robotics and mechatronics at the same time, Queen's is one of the top choices for you to consider. So we are very proud with our very high employment rates. So we have one of the highest employment rates in Canada, with 91% of our students who get a job offer within 6 months after they graduate. And why they are so successful is because they are challenged and supported in equal measure. At Queen's, ensuring that you have the supports in physical, academically, physically, mentally, especially is one of the main priorities for the Queen's community. So as an international student, travel away from home for the first time probably, it could be really intimidating, but once you come to Queen's, join the Queen's community, the Kingston community, I'm pretty confident to say that you will feel the very strong sense of community on the very first days when you arrive at the Queen's campus. So we have a lot of support and services available to students. If you struggle, if you find yourself struggle with academic matters in writing, or struggling adapting to a new life in Canada, we always have resources, professional and staff there available to support you whenever you feel the need of somebody to professionally to support you. Another great support that I want to highlight today is the Queen's Scholarship programs. So we have enormous opportunities for international students to get some sort of financial assistance. The value of scholarships or awards that we offer to international students range significantly from $1,500 up to $100,000. So last year, for this fall 2022, we have 126 international awards of significant value, ranging from $40,000 to $100,000 awards to grant to international students. So a lot of opportunities there if you're interested in Queen's University, and you would want to see if you have a chance to be considered for one of the high value international awards that we offer. I would encourage you to apply, and this will be automatically considered. You don't have to worry about submitting a separate application. As soon as you complete your application, finish submitting on the required documents, then you will be automatically considered for one of the scholarships or international awards at Queen's University. At Queen's, you can design your degree as unique as you are. With common first year in majority of programs, you have the opportunity to choose the courses of your choice. So it could be the courses of your interest in the area of your interest, or it could be totally something else to give you a chance to discover different areas, different perspectives before committing one. We also offer a variety of opportunities for you to get relevant experience. So you can connect with the local community, or if you want to get some hands-on experience, build your impressive resume, then we also have a very great internship programs, which I highlight in a bit later. A lot of opportunities for you to earn what you learn working a part-time jobs while studying at Queen's. So as an international student, you are allowed to work 20 hours per week during study time and 40 hours per week during break like summer. And the minimum pay rate is $14 per hour. Again, the Queen's University internship programs is a great value-added feature that we offer to Queen's students. So with this program, you can take 1 year off from school and will work full-time 12 to 16 months and get paid. On average, Queen's students make up to 43,000 Canadian dollars for 1 year internship. Some extraordinary engineering students at Queen's, they can make up to $90,000. So this is great, really impressive amount of money that students can make while they haven't even graduated from a university just yet. A lot of opportunities for you if you would like to engage with the local community. Then we have a lot of clubs, organizations, and for you to get involved and to get to interact with local people, so that you can adapt and adjust well to Canadian life and get to open your horizon and perspective, which one of the main priorities at Queen's. We also offer a lot of opportunities for you to get thinking globally. You can do so by participating in one of the exchange programs that we offer at Queen's. You can also choose the options to study at the UK campus, which Aidan is going to be talking a little bit more later on. And also, within, if you don't want to travel out Canada, then within the diverse student population at Queen's, by interacting with students coming from different countries around the world, you will also get opportunity to get to know more about different people from different countries, get to know about their cultures, their languages, and to open your perspective and horizon. We have a lot of resources available on campus to get you ready for life after graduation. And one of the very helpful resources that we offer at Queen's is the Career Services Center. So all year round, this center organizes a lot of seminars, workshops, and job fairs for you to participate and engage. So I would encourage you to engage in contact this Career Services Center as soon as you arrive to Kingston, to get to know the major map, which we designed particularly for you as a student, for you to know what to expect and how to best prepare for your four years journey at Queen's University. So that is it about my presentation. I'm going to pass this over to Aidan for him to talk about this unique campus of Queen's in the UK. So over to you, Aidan.
Okay, yeah, thank you. As you can see, quite a few options when you come to Queen's. There's a lot there, and it's certainly hard to sum up in one presentation. But we talked a bit already about our Kingston, Ontario campus. So now we're going to be talking about our second campus, our international campus that we have in the United Kingdom. So Chow, if you wouldn't mind going to the next slide there. So I noticed we have a few more folks joining now. Just to quickly recap, we have two campuses. One of them, our largest campus, is located in Kingston, which you can see there on the right. Beautiful city, lots of islands. And then our second campus is actually located over in the UK. We're on a 550-acre estate in the English countryside, and our campus is home to a 15th century castle. So there's Bader College really offers an unparalleled university experience. While you're here, you're going to engage in new communities, and you're also going to participate in an academic experience that takes you far beyond the classroom. So whether you choose to study in our seminar rooms or our state-of-the-art labs, you're going to be in a program that's designed to maximize your learning before returning to the Kingston campus to complete your upper year studies. So that's an important thing to note, is you actually come to the castle for first year of university, and then you continue your studies at the Kingston campus. So you really get to experience two different countries and two different campuses as well, both of which are excellent. So Chow, if you wouldn't mind going to the next slide, please. So these are the programs that we offer, and unfortunately we don't have quite the same wide range of programs as our campus in Kingston, Ontario. That is just because we're smaller. But if you're interested in the arts, the sciences, or becoming a teacher in the concurrent education program, or if, like Chow mentioned earlier, you really want to take a deep dive into the medical world, then health science is also a great option. Now, that said, these are just our first year programs. So we do also have upper year programs as well too, which are open to anyone from any university that's completed 1 year. And as a result, we have students coming to study with us from all over the world. So we have a fairly small cohort of about 150 first year students. One thing that makes our academics much different is our average class size is only 14 to 17 students. This allows your professors to work one-on-one with you and give you a lot of attention. And this personalized experience is going to ensure your success in later years of university. Right. So Chow also mentioned too, when we had the slide earlier about Bader College, about experiential learning. And this is really the core of our program. So our experiential learning opportunities, or as we call them, ELOs, are designed really to immerse you in your studies. And they encourage you to learn through discovery and practical experience. Here's a few examples of what they look like. So let's say you take psychology. As a psych student, you're actually going to be headed over to the zoo to document the behavior of animals at the zoo and then create a psychological profile of the animals that you've been observing. Whenever you're ready. Oh, perfect. Thank you. So in biology, you're actually going to be out on the estate and you're going to be assisting in rehabilitating the damaged environment. So if you're into the environment, you're into nature, this is a great option. You'll actually be reintroducing species into the local habitat that haven't been there for 1,000 years. And I do mean releasing live wild animals so that they can repopulate the area. And then the last example I have for you, and keep in mind, experiential learning opportunities are built into all your classes. So this is just a very small snapshot. But for health sciences, you're actually going to follow the trail of the physician John Snow through London's Soho neighborhood, which is what we have on screen here. And you're going to learn about the origins of epidemiology and contact tracing. And I think it goes without saying that's very relevant these days. So Bader College puts you within arm's reach of London and other major European cities. Both while you're on campus and while you're traveling, you're going to meet people from around the world. You're going to engage with new communities and you're going to experience personal growth through unfamiliar encounters. Keep in mind too, you also would have the added benefit of studying in 2 countries, Canada and the United Kingdom, which really just increases that international experience that you're going to be gaining. Okay, so during the midterms, you're actually going to travel with your class for 5 days to explore Europe. Our fall trip is actually to Oxford and our winter trip is to Paris. After the trips, you'll have some more days to travel on your own and then you'll have reading week. So that's some time off to work on your studies or if you really want to travel a bit more. Okay, so during your downtime, we're going to encourage you to continue exploring Europe, getting out there, having different experiences, obviously doing your studies as well too. So we're only an hour away from the Gatwick Airport, and from there you can easily reach the rest of the continent. There's also so much to see in the local area. All the photos here are from the local area. So there's places like Eastbourne, which have beautiful views, Brighton, which has a great nightlife. We're also going to make it easy for you to get around and see what's in the area because our student services team organizes many day trips to places like Stonehenge and Bath, which has Roman ruins. Okay, so we have a very active community on campus. It's very inviting as well too. Many different activities that you could participate in, things like clubs, sports intramurals. Off campus, a lot of our students choose to volunteer with community partners or to go on excursions. There's also a lot of music and performance opportunities, and these are all run by 2 very accomplished musicians who work directly with us at Bader College. So we also have a comprehensive meal plan. Our dining hall has a rotating menu with a wide variety of food. We accommodate any dietary restrictions, and we have food really from all over the world. Outside of the meal plan, you could always head over to Chestnut's Cafe for your traditional English tea fare. There's also the local cuisine to check out, some really good pub food. And on site as well, we have the Headless Drummer, which is our English pub. So all of our students live in residence in Bader Hall. It's a traditional residence. It's right across the road from the castle where you'll be having your classes. It has everything you'd expect, 24/7 security, gyms, laundry, common rooms and music rooms, as well as study spaces. And we'll provide you with linens, towels, and even a mini fridge. So you do not need to bring any of those items to England with you. So much like our Kingston campus, we offer extensive student support, things from study supports to academic advising. Health and wellness are very important too. So you'll have access to doctors and counselors. And this year as well too, we have personal success coaches who will be there to assist you and make sure that you're on track with your studies. Of course, as well too, even though you're in our UK campus, you'll have access virtually to all the services that we offer in Kingston. All right. Last item I have here is I want to quickly talk about the fees and financial aid. So hopefully, as you've seen, Bader College really is an amazing experience, as is Kingston as well. And our program fee specifically for Bader College is $43,000 Canadian. This is actually the same price that Canadian students pay. Now, just before you go, whoa, $43,000, that's a fair bit. I want to let you know too that $43,000 Canadian is not the same as $43,000 USD. Our dollar is worth significantly less. But your program fee actually covers quite a bit. So it covers your tuition and course fees. It covers your meal plan. It covers residence, the minibus service, and that'll take you around the local area. It covers those experiential learning opportunities I was chatting about, as well as your fall and winter midterm trips, and shockingly more. Other than your flights, once you're there, pretty much everything is all inclusive. You can actually see and we'll talk a little bit more about financial aid. I noticed there's a couple questions in the chat, which we'll get to, but I recommend you also hop on our website and you can take a look at more of our award details there. All right, with that said, I'll pass things back to you, Chow.
Yeah, so thanks, Aiden. So I hope by now you have got a good sense about Queen's University. And for those of you who want to take lunch and apply to Queen's University, it's important for you to know that for the 2023 intake, we are going to be opening the application on OUAC starting from October 1st this year. So you have until February 1st the next year to apply to Queen's. So if either you choose to study at the main campus in Kingston for the first year or at the Bader College in the UK for the first year, you also have to submit the application on OUAC, but there's going to be two different codes for you to choose from. But don't worry, it's pretty straightforward. When you go to the OUAC, then I believe that you really easily to know which option that you need to choose. Then after you submit your application or UAC, just make sure that you check the email that you use to submit the application from. Make sure that you check the email regularly, as that is how we are going to be communicating with you throughout the admission cycle. And just follow the instruction on the email to activate your net ID and to also follow on the steps to finish submitting your application packet by submitting all the required documents, finish your to-do list, and then you are on the right track. So that is pretty much all the key information that we want to highlight and share today to you guys. I see a couple of questions here in the chat and Q&A. So we surely can address your questions right now. But if after the section today, if you want to contact us, this is our contact information. So we encourage you to stay connected with us on social media as well, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also check out our YouTube channel. We have a lot of exciting and viral videos on the YouTube channel. And if you want to contact Aiden to learn more about the UK campus, here is this email address that you need to contact. All right, so let's. Great, we see 6 questions now already, which is great. The first question, do you offer need-based or full scholarships? So unfortunately, we don't have full scholarships. We have need-based scholarships, but it's very limited. But as I mentioned earlier, we have the international awards, which very significant value. Up to, it could help you up to 50% of your tuition at Queen's University. The value is around $100,000. This year we don't have the exact number just yet, but based on the program of last year, we had 126 awards to grant to international students, and the value ranged from $40,000 to $100,000. So a lot of good opportunities there for you to get some sort of financial assistance to support your study at Queen's. The second question, Aidan, you want to pick it?
Absolutely, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So what do we look for in students? And the answer is fairly simple. We're looking at your grades primarily. So keep your grades up, let your teachers know as well too that you're looking to apply to universities, and you can always ask what you can do to make sure your grades stay high. That's what I recommend. But that's true just for all our students, in our international students, including our students in Canada as well too.
Great. Yeah, just want to add one more thing. So if you apply into certain programs at Queen's like commerce or health science or nursing, then other than the transcript, we also require you to submit the supplementary essay. So that's what we need to keep in mind. So with the essay, we just want to learn more about yourself, about your career inspiration, and usually I would encourage students to, when you write an essay, make sure that you write very good essay in terms of quality, in terms of English usage, as this will be read very carefully by our faculty at the faculty themselves, and also by our alumni as well. Other than that, for majority of programs at Queen's, we only look at your transcript, which is your academic performance only.
Sorry, Chow. I just want to quickly add sight about the essay there as well. I forgot about that for a second. Yes, commerce, nursing, health science. One important thing is you'll actually get a question for the essay too that you need to answer. It's most important that you answer the question. So if you do that, we're not looking necessarily for university level essay, even though you're not in university yet, but please answer whatever question you're given.
Yeah, so there's going to be a website, especially for commerce. They have a very nice website that shows the examples as well. So you can refer to the example to see what we looking at when we read your essays, right? That's give you some very good hints to get started with. All right, let's move to the third question here. How will a student's monthly expenses look like? Okay, so I'm going to talk about the main campus, and then Aidan going to talk again about the Waseda College campus. So for the main campus in Kingston, so if you choose to live in residence, so meal plan going to be mandatory if you choose to live in residence, then the fee, the living expenses going to be around 20,000 Canadian dollars, and that's include residence and meal plan. But if you choose to stay out of campus, which usually a lot of upper year students tend to do, then the living expenses decrease significantly. So it could range from $12,000 to $15,000, depending on your lifestyle, your expenditures. But we have a different expenses package in the Waseda College in the UK. So Aidan, you want to talk more about it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Waseda College is going to be less expensive for your first year of university because the $43,000 program fee covers your residence and your meal plan. And it's the same price that our Canadian students pay. So there's not a difference in tuition between a Canadian student and an international student, which is really great. Very happy about that. Right. Really for any other expenses, if you're looking to buy school supplies while you're there, if you're looking to buy or travel a lot, if you're there and you're like, okay, I'm in Europe, I want to travel the whole continent, then yeah, it'll add up a little bit. But I would say, anywhere from $45,000 to $50,000 for most, like just about everything would be fine.
Yeah, and that's a little intuition as well in there. So that saves you a huge amount of money compared with
yes,
the
yeah.
main campus in Kingston. Yeah. All right. So Aiden, I let you pick the fourth question if you don't mind.
Okay, so this is a really good one here. Does Queens have a Filipino community? How is it there? So yes, we do. I'll tell you a little bit about Canada and I'll get to Queens specific. So the Philippines is actually the country that most people, I guess, it's our largest immigrant country. So Canada receives a lot of people from all over the world. The Philippines is by far our sort of largest population in recent years that has been moving to Canada. So you're actually going to find quite a few Filipinos while you're here. The food is just about everywhere. Actually, we just opened a Jollibee in Kingston. So if you enjoy Jollibee, it's here. There is quite a few Filipinos. And yeah, we do have a lot of people at Queens who are Filipinos. I don't have the exact number. It's not something that we go up and necessarily ask our students, but there is a strong community and you can easily find, I know food's always a big thing when you go to another country. So you can easily find, food that you would expect to eat at home. You're also not far from Toronto or Montreal either. And Toronto is an interesting city because most people in Toronto are from another country. And as a result, there is food, there is items, there's things to do that really come from all over the world. It's very much a global community there. So if you say, hey, I really want to get this item and it's a little hard to find, I can guarantee it'll be in Toronto. And of course, we have, Amazon and stuff, so anything can be shipped over.
Right. Okay. The next one, is there a maximum number of organizations, societies that you can join as a student in Queens? Definitely not, right? And you can join as many clubs, organizations as you want to. Just want to make sure that you need to balance between your workload, your study workload, and your extracurricular activities. And that is the only thing that you're concerned. Other than that, you can just join as many as you want to, as you wish. Do you require English proficiency test result? So yes, for international students, we require English proficiency, but we require very standard requirements. So if you're planning to take IELTS, as I believe IELTS is one of the key elements that you need to have when you apply for study permit to Canada. For IELTS, we require 6.5 general with no band under 6. We also accept TOEFL, BTE, Duolingo, and so many types of tests as well. But for students studying at schools, where English is the primary medium teaching for at least 3 years, then they have the high chance to be waived from submitting English proficiency test. Are you comfortable to pick the next one, Aiden?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so I have, is it possible for students to start their own organization in Queens? Absolutely, that's how all our organizations get started. Certainly I can say at Bader College, everything is student run because we have a new group of first years every year and then they return to Kingston. But even at the Kingston campus, yeah, if you want to start your own organization, you absolutely can. What I'd recommend you do is you just talk to our student government. They can see about getting you funding. Also, obviously, chat with other people too, and make sure there's some strong interest. But yeah, we very much encourage that.
Great. Next question. I don't have a lot of extracurricular activities. Will it affect my chances of getting in? This is a great question. Definitely not. One thing I have to say, it really depends on the programs that you apply into firsthand. So for majority of programs at Queens, like if you apply into arts, science, engineering, computing, then all of these programs will not look at any other things except for the transcript. So we only look at your academic performance, your high school transcripts only. We don't even require SAT or any other type of test as well. In terms of English, extracurricular activities, if you, for some programs like commerce, health sciences, or not similar, which require you to submit the supplementary essay as well. There might be chances for you to highlight some extracurricular activities that you participated, but that's just not the only element that we look at when we assess your application. This is a plus. Yes, of course, have strengthened your application, but quality will be of course will be highly higher rewarded than quantity of the activities that you participated. We understand that as a high school student, you need to you are busy as well with your school to keep your grades up, right? So we don't really count how many extracurricular activities that you participated during high school, but other than that, when we read your essay, then we look at you as a well-rounded student. We want to learn more about yourself as a whole, and would want to know what the value what you bring to the Queen's community, and why would you be interested in the realm that you apply into, and what would be your career, what you vision yourself after you pick the certain programs that you apply into at Queen's University. I don't know if Aidan would want to add something.
No, it's mostly grades. Yeah. So even for the essay questions, if you haven't, like on commerce, if you haven't, done a lot of extracurriculars, again, it's important that you answer the question. We recognize that everybody has access to, different extracurriculars. Everyone's situation is different. So we try not to admit students based on that. We really do focus on your grades. Yeah. So it's not something I would worry about.
Right. Next question, does Queen's offer on and off-campus jobs? So I just let you answer it, if you don't mind.
We offer on-campus jobs, certainly, because there's jobs here at Queen's. Off-campus, we may be able to connect you with somebody, and there might be some opportunities, but most off-campus jobs will be in the community with Kingston. On-campus jobs are not, and there are some rules, so it'd be saying I don't have the exact answer here, but they're not always subject to the 20-hour-a-week rule. So you could actually work more than 20 hours a week, although it's not something that I would personally recommend if you're studying and doing your courses at the same time. Chow, if it's okay with you. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Did you have more to add, or?
Yeah, just a little bit more. I mean, of course, you can work more than 20 hours per week during study time, but the regulation as an international student, you're not allowed to. So make sure that you work within the limit that you are allowed to. But you can work full time. By full time, I don't mean it's 40 hours. You can work more than 40 hours during summer or winter break. But during study time, you are you have a limit of 20 hours only, and it could be either on campus or off campus. So we offer a lot of on campus jobs, but off campus jobs usually would be provided by the local community in Kingston. Yeah.
So I just did the math for the next question, so I'll be able to answer that one.
Sure.
800 so sorry, let me read the question first. How much in USD would you estimate the average monthly cost of living in the Kingston campus? So this I did with the living on residence and with the meal plan in mind. So understand that it could be less if you choose to live off campus. But my answer is 850 USD would be the average monthly cost of living at the Kingston campus.
Right. Thanks, Aidan. What is the acceptable grade for health sciences? So I would say health sciences is one of the most competitive programs at Queen's. So usually we look at 90 plus usually for the grade 12. Grade 12 is the most important element that we look at. If your grade 12 is not available at the time that you apply for admission, then we might use grade 11. But overall, grade 12 is the most important element that we look at when we assess your application. Next question. Is it possible to double major in Queen's, and can these majors be from different fields? You want to take it or I take it?
Oh, I could take this one.
Okay.
All right. Is it possible to double major at Queen's? And can these majors be from different fields? So yes, I'll start first by explaining in our arts and science faculty, it's our largest faculty. There is over 1,200 different degree options, so quite a bit. And you could easily take 2 majors within there. Now, if you're in commerce, engineering, or health sciences, which are different faculties, you can actually have a what we call a dual degree or a double major. And your second major will need to be in the arts and health sciences. So you couldn't do, say, commerce and engineering. That would be quite a bit of work. But you could easily do, say, something like commerce and politics, or commerce and economics, or health science and life science as well too. So yeah, we do offer those. Typically, they add another year onto your school just to make sure that you can complete all the requirements.
Right. All right. I'm aware that we are running out of time. We have actually 9 minutes left, so hopefully we can address all the questions. How would you compare your health sciences program to other schools? What makes it unique compared to other schools? This is a great question. So I would say, as I mentioned earlier during my presentation, so Queen's is the top 5 among medical doctoral universities in Canada. So our health sciences program is one of the most competitive health sciences program in Canada, I believe. So what would make this unique? I would say the first of all is the reputation and academic excellence of the faculty themselves in Canada. So once you get admitted to the program, you will have, you receive one of the most prestigious degrees in health sciences in Canada, which gives you a great access to job market, to labor market when you graduate from Queen's University. And the community itself at health sciences, so each year we take in only around 150 students. This is really a small cohort. You know, so you have a great opportunity to engage, interact with your peers. So majority of students in the health sciences faculty at Queen's, they know each other. They know by name. So it's just really, I think it's really important for you as an international student studying so far away from home, and you get to learn, study in a community where people get to know your name and call you by names, you know. So that would make you feel very inclusive and make you feel a strong part of the community. And another thing that I think really unique at Queen's, especially in the Faculty of Health Sciences, is the internship program that we offer. So the Faculty of Health Sciences offer the 12 to 16 month full-time and paid internship. So this is a great opportunity for you to gain a lot of hands-on experience, to connect with your peers, and to build an impressive resume, and build very strong professional network with prospective employers, which is really important for you when you graduate and trying to find a job, and you have very strong connection before that, then would make you a very outstanding and strong candidate among others. And I would say health sciences is also one of the options that allow you to study at the Beta College in the UK for the first year, right? If that's something that you're interested in. And Aidan, he mentioned earlier about a lot of opportunities for you to do experiential learning. Aidan, if you want to just mention it again, you're expert in that, so I just let it to do it.
Absolutely. So for all the programs at Bader College, you actually go out and you do field studies. So we're really blending the theoretical knowledge that you learn in the classroom with the practical knowledge that you'll be using with your career. So for our health sciences courses, we do, well, I mentioned earlier the trip to Soho. You go to a historic operating theater. They'll actually look at a medical collection that they have at, I'm forgetting the name of the museum, but it's a big museum there in the UK, and you get to see what tools are available in the evolution. Yeah, you'll actually do some environmental work as well too, to look at how certain items of the environment can affect people's health. It's very hands-on. Even at the Kingston campus, you do have sort of your own section of campus that's been carved out just for health science students. And there's actually labs there as well too, where there are, I guess the best way to put it would be like specimens. There's bones, things that you can work with. Perfect. I think we're at time. I think I'll pass it back to you there, Chow. Or
okay.
Nix.
Next one. Do you provide hospital and healthcare related co-op opportunities? Yeah, for sure. I think, our health sciences program and even life sciences program, these programs offer the trial assessment full-time and pay internship. And usually with internships program, you get to practice. You get to do a job that is really related to the relevant to the program that you study in Queen's. So if you do in like even with nursing program, we have a lot of opportunities for you to do to be placed at hospitals and to practice. So a lot of opportunities there if you choose to study in one of the areas that related to hospital and healthcare industry. Do you offer co-ops? Yes, as I mentioned earlier. So at Queen's, we don't call it co-ops. It's just because usually for us, we define co-ops as short-term programs that you get to work for a semester and then you're back to school. And then after one semester of study, you do co-op again. But at Queen's, we don't have that short-term program. We call it internships. It's because once you choose to do the internship, it is full-time and pay with the duration of 12 to 16 months straight. So, I mean, in nature, it's the same. It provides opportunities for you to get hands-on experience. But with internship, this is a much longer term duration. You go at least 1 year and maximum of 16 months. And every programs that at Queen's, every employers that offer jobs that partner with us, then the jobs had to meet the requirements of the duration of 12 to 16 months. So that is only a difference. But other than that, but we also believe with the longer term, then usually you have more benefits. You benefits more from, you have opportunity to work on a project, on any project from the beginning to the end, and you get to learn a lot more instead of working a few months and back to school and then work on another project for some other months, right? So that's why we refer longer term internships than the short term co-ops.
Can I answer the last one there? Are there any benefits exclusive to Canadian students? There aren't. So international students, although there is a tuition, a fee difference, there's no benefits that are really only available to Canadian students. In Canada, and you'll find this not just at university, but pretty much everywhere you go, wherever you come from, you're going to have the same access to everything that a Canadian would. That's something that's really important here.
Great, Taman. We beat it all.
Oh my gosh, okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Chow and Sir Aidan, for your time and for being able to answer a lot of questions in the Q&A. I personally learned a lot about Queen's College. I'll be definitely considering that as I'm also like curating my college list, and a lot of my schools are based in Canada, so I'll make sure of that. And it's also cool about the UK campus, so it's really fun that there's a lot of work opportunities and a lot of places to travel. So to our attendees, I will be sending in the link tree in the chat box so that you guys can place your contact details if you want to keep in touch with Queen's University. So I'll be sending that again now. All right, so feel free. That concludes our session today. So a big thank you to our speakers, Sir Aidan and Ms. Chow, for joining us, and also to our attendees for taking their time. So the next college on call will be Waseda University. So if you'd like to stay for that, please stay on the Zoom call. So thank you again.
Thank you, Nix.
Thank
you
you
everyone for attending our section today. Hope to see you again soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. All right, so we ended a bit on time. So I think our representative from Waseda University is here, Miss Diane.
Hi.
So I'll make you co-host in case you can share your screen. Hello.
Okay, hi.
Hi. All right, so I'll be starting with an intro and you can get your presentation ready while I'm doing that, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. If you don't mind, I'll go along and try to start sharing.
Yes, please do.
Okay.
All right, so good evening, everyone. We're on our last session for tonight. So thank you for taking the time to listen into the next amazing university with us today for the 2022 College Fair. So first things first, thank you once again to our sponsors, the Princeton Review Philippines, AUG Student Services, LIMS Review Center, Study International Philippines, AM Review Philippines, International College of Liberal Arts at Yamanashi Gakuin University, Queen's University, and Syracuse University. Now, I am happy to introduce today's speaker representing Waseda University. They will be here with us for an hour to present about the academics, student life, and more about their university. And after the presentation, they can also answer any questions that you may have for them. So to our attendees, if you do have any questions at any point during the talk, please feel to send them through the Q&A feature. I will also link an interest form in the chat if you want your contact details to be forwarded to Waseda University. So just scroll down to the appropriate day and you should see their name and a link to a form. And to our speaker, at the end of your information session, please feel free to scroll through the questions in the Q&A and answer those you wish to. Or do let us know if you would like any of the camp representatives to facilitate the Q&A. I will also be recording the session if that's okay with you, Ms. Diane. All right, that's good. So without further ado, I give the floor to Ms. Diane. Take it away.
Hi, thanks for checking out Waseda. I'll tell you about it in just 3.5 minutes. Let's go. First of all, Waseda is in central Tokyo. What draws people to Tokyo? Well, there are historic landmarks and buildings, and vibrant city life, convenient public transportation, and great food. Tokyo has a lot to offer. Also, safety is part of the reason why Tokyo is rated the world's most livable city, and is full of friendly, helpful people. Now, about the Waseda community. Waseda has over 8,000 international students, the largest number in Japan. Let's meet some students.
I think the most delicious thing to eat in Japan is shabu shabu.
はい、今一番楽しい授業はフィルムスタディスという授業です。It's too easy to get lost in the train station.
僕は柔道をやってみますよ。
Pretty diverse, right? We offer 56 degree programs taught in English and over 3,000 English language courses. Let's look in on a class. Tell us about Waseda.
In my school at Waseda, we not only study international issues, we're an international group, a very friendly international group, and it's a lot of fun for both the students and the teacher.
Waseda has partnerships with 800 institutions in over 90 countries and regions. It's way too many for me to name. We're definitely global. Waseda is one of the top schools in Japan for employability. Our graduates are in high demand. Lots of international alumni work in Japan and around the world, creating a strong global alumni network. That's a big help when looking for jobs and internships. And for fun, join a club. We've got over 1,000. I think our clubs are some of the most active in the world. At Waseda, you can make friends for a lifetime. We'd love for you to join us at Waseda. Did you enjoy the video? For more information, visit the Why Waseda website. It's in 13 different languages. Hope to see you here.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Diane, and tonight I will share with you information about Waseda University. If you just give me a minute. I'll just share the presentation. Hopefully by the end of the presentation, your question will no longer be why Waseda, but why not Waseda? Right. Okay, let's see here. Right, can you guys see it? Is it on full screen? Just that again.
Yes, Miss Diane, it's full screen. It's all right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so first of all, Waseda University is located in the beautiful country of Japan and located in the capital, Tokyo. It is also centrally located in Tokyo, and it's very convenient and accessible with just an hour-away transportation by train to either an airports, Narita and Haneda. Now, why Tokyo? Tokyo actually has a natural blend of both traditional and modern. So it's a great place to see superstructures, megastructures, blending along with the traditional architecture, and not to mention Japanese cuisine. Who doesn't love Japanese cuisine? And just a fun fact, actually, most of the Michelin-starred, Tokyo is a city where most of Michelin-starred restaurants are located. Okay, where am I? It doesn't move. Oh, there you go. In terms of stats and rankings, Tokyo is actually the safest city in the world. And by this, Tokyo is the best students, the second best student city in the world. About Waseda University, I would be proud to tell you that Waseda is a private university and it is also the top ranking university in Japan. If you would rank both public and private, I think unofficially Waseda will be second. The first would be University of Tokyo. And with this, they are highly ranked in 50. They're ranked 50 in some subjects. They're also ranked 51 to 100 in 5 more fields. Waseda has a total of about more or less, a little less than 50,000 students. And the undergraduate students are about 40,000 with around 8,000 postgraduate students doing masters. In terms of that whole population, around 8,350 are international students, and they come from 121 countries and regions. And as mentioned by the video earlier, Waseda University is actually #1 in terms of student diversity and international student population in Japan. Now let's talk about one of Waseda's strengths, their alumni. They have about 640,000 alumni around the world, and most of them are actually pretty prestigious, popular, and notable. To name a few, 8 of Japan's prime ministers graduated from Waseda. Their current prime minister today, Fumio Kishida, graduated actually from the School of Law in 1982. To add to that, more notable is Haruki Murakami. I don't know if you've come across the writer, but it's very well known, and I've read some of the books. My personal favorite is actually Norwegian Wood. Also, there is Izumi Nakamitsu. She's the first Japanese woman to be appointed as the United Nations Under-Secretary General in 2017 and High Representative for Disarmament Affairs. To add to that, around 10,771 of the alumni are CEOs and presidents of multinational companies, including the CEO of Uniqlo, Nintendo, and also the CEO of Samsung, although it is a South Korean brand. The CEO of Samsung is a graduate of Waseda. Also, last but not least, the founder of Sony is also the alumni of Waseda. Now, moving on to millennials. Last year, Forbes actually created a list of 30 persons under age 30 in Asia. So these are the millennials that we should look out for. And 4 of them are alumni or graduates from Waseda. There's Jerome from Indonesia, and founder of startups Apify, Nati, and Mellow. Apart from the notable alumni, Waseda University has partners around the world, around 800 plus university partnerships, and we've put up in this slide those that are most notable. So there's Yale, there's Cornell, there's Columbia, and there's Stanford in the US. There's also Oxford and Cambridge in the UK. With these partnerships, Waseda students can actually study a semester or a year abroad while just paying Waseda fees. Well, I'm sure that you have heard some of the webinars earlier, and some of them were from US universities, and you have generally a sense of idea how much the tuition is, but I'll talk about that more in another slide. Student life at Waseda. Waseda has 44 sports clubs. So I think any sport that you can think of, there would be a club. It ranges from your usual to your specific or very unique fencing, for example, or even winter sports. So apart from that, Waseda also has a total of 500 student clubs. And these clubs are for you to meet like-minded minds of the same interest as you, and creates opportunities for the students to connect to other nationalities with same likes and interests. So in addition to immersing to Japanese culture, there are 300 cultural events. It doesn't only limit to Japanese related events, it also tackles and also showcases events from other cultures, so you can learn cultures from other countries as well. Accommodation. Waseda has 3 accommodations available for international students: Privia Will, WID, and Wish. So WID Waseda has around 500 rooms and is about a 3-minute walk to the campus. Privia Will Waseda is around 200 rooms and a 2-minute walk to the campus. The largest one would be Waseda International Student House. It has more than 800 rooms, but is a 9-minute train ride to the campus. Student sport at Waseda. Students at Waseda while studying at the university can access any of these facilities. There is the Center of International Education, who looks after incoming international students and develops university partnerships, allowing students more opportunities for their study abroad semester or year. This center also encourages students to experience a different campus and a different life in another country. Another one would be the Gender and Sexuality Center. They look after minority students who may be disadvantaged, making sure that they can study without discrimination. They offer consultation, support, resources, and an open venue for any events. Next. There is also the Center for Japanese Language. While Waseda offers lessons for 28 different languages, the Center for Japanese Language is the largest. They offer a range and variety of courses for beginner and expert. It's also the largest Japanese language center in Japan. Now, most of the undergraduate students can get free access to these classes, either required by their course or just for free in your own time. Having said that, you might be able to understand the quality of students at Waseda, looking at where they go after they graduate. So, according to graduate employability rankings, Waseda is #1 again for Japanese private universities, and unofficially, I would say they would be #2. They're also number 37 worldwide. Now, employment after graduation, it's useful for you to know that you're not only hired by just Japanese brands or Japanese companies, you're also hired by multinational companies, not just limited to Japanese brands. So if you can see, there are very famous multinational companies in this list. And most of the graduates are actually starting at a salary of about 200,000 a month, 200,000 pesos a month. Now, if you're an engineer, you can actually make more. You can make up to 400,000 to 500,000 a month in pesos. Yeah. A small minority go and pursue their masters. And as you can see, this list here are the schools of the notable universities that Waseda graduates go and study their masters. So you have Yale, you have Oxford and Cambridge, you have National University of Singapore, and some of the students actually stay on in Waseda to do their masters. Now, how much does it cost to study in Waseda? Very important question. So we will now provide you with that answer. So in this graph, we've illustrated the average tuition fee of a US school and a UK university. So thereabouts 300 to 25,000 US dollars. Actually, if you talk about Ivy League schools, the tuition fee is double. It is at least 60,000. So if you're looking at Yale, for example, it will be easily 50,000 US dollars per year. But in Waseda, it only costs a fraction. It's only 10,000 average cost tuition fee per year at Waseda. So if you could just imagine your savings, the value for money, the salary you enjoy after graduation, 10,000 doesn't really cost a lot. Now let's have a quick look at tuition and living expenses. As mentioned before, the tuition fee is around 1.1 or 1.8 Japanese yen. To get a peso equivalent, you'll just have to divide this by 2. So it's around 600, less than 600,000 per year for a degree of per year tuition fee at Waseda University. Now for living expenses for a month, we have illustrated here for housing, for example, it's around 35,000 pesos a month. Food and utilities is around 13,000 pesos a month. Now, this is dependent on your lifestyle. This is just an approximate. If you eat out all the time and you want artisan coffee every day, then this is actually below your budget. But if you're frugal, then this is actually above. You can save more. Other personal expenses, for example, is around another 13,500, a total of about 60,000 pesos per month expenses. Now let's go to scholarships. Yes, there are scholarships available at Waseda. There are over 100 types available. And the better news is 40% of the 8,000 plus international students receive scholarships. So that's close to 4,000 of the international students get some form of scholarship. So while Waseda does not offer 100% scholarship, the scholarships in Japan can actually be stackable, meaning if you're eligible to apply to 5 or 10 scholarships, you can apply. And it doesn't matter if you get awarded 2, 3, or 4. You can just stack them and then use them for your own benefit. So if you get to 20% scholarship here, 40% scholarship there, you can add it all up, so it's 6%. Now let's talk about the programs offered at Waseda. The English language taught degree programs at Waseda University. But most of their courses are actually taught in Japanese, but they have quite a good number of courses that are taught in English. So out of the 13 undergraduate schools, 6 of them actually provide English-based degree programs. These are the School of Political Science and Economics, the School of Social Sciences, the School of International Liberal Studies, the School of Culture, Media, and Society, the School of Engineering divided into Fundamental Science and Engineering and Creative Science and Engineering. Let me just briefly describe each one. So for the School of Political Science and Economies, there's a global approach to these fields of study. They are fully bilingual. So once you get fluent with your Japanese, you can opt to sit in the Japanese version of the classes. Now, if you're interested in political science, economics, international relations, or global economies, this would be the course for you. The School of Social Sciences, transnational and interdisciplinary studies in social innovation programs. The study actually, they study actually various challenges that communities face globally. And because there is a field work in place, the students can hands-on experience on learning to help solve real world problems that we face around the globe. The School of International Liberal Studies. This school is actually for those who have not yet decided what to major in. So for your first 2 years, you can actually study a range of courses. You can do a little bit of psychology, you can do a little bit of business, whatever you choose. And on your 3rd year, you will be asked to major. So 2 years will give you enough time to discover and help decide what you want to major in. Now, for School of International and Liberal Arts, you're actually required to study Japanese as part of the curriculum. The School of Culture, Media, and Society. If you're interested in Japanese culture, literature, language, then this is the course for you. Although it discusses Japanese culture and Japanese language in detail, this course is delivered fully in English. Last but not least, at the School of Engineering, which is divided in 2. So for fundamental science and engineering, there's mathematical sciences and computer science. And for creative science and engineering are for those who are interested in robotics, for example, or city planning. Now, how does one apply to Waseda? Before the details, I would just like to give you information about the intake, the quota for every school in Waseda that offer the English language course. Now we have the International Liberal Arts, the Liberal Arts School actually is the only one who has 2 intakes, one in September, which is their main intake, and one in April. So as you can see, there's 150 for September, another 100 for April. For Culture, Media, and Society, there's 15 for September. Social Sciences, the quota is 60 for September. They've increased their quota for September because they've discontinued the April intake. Now for Political Science, it's 100, and for each of the engineering schools, that's 30. Okay, application period. So they have a uniform application period. We'll just have to replace 2022 to 2023. So if you're looking at intake for next year, next September, the application period starts next year at on January 7, 2023, and it will end on February 24, 2023. 23. Okay. So what happens when you apply? So you've submitted the application, it goes to document screening. Now, after document screening, you can have one of the three outcomes. One would be you are given an unconditional offer, which means based on the documents that you've submitted, they're happy, and then you can continue to apply and to enroll as a Waseda student. Another outcome could be a conditional offer, meaning that they would probably require more documents from you or wait for exam results, or you would be requested for an interview. So after you have met all those requirements, they will then decide whether to offer you a place or not. Now, the third outcome is not to get accepted at all. So what do you need to apply? Of course, you need an application form, a completed application form. You need an English essay. You need a certificate of expected graduation. You need a transcript. You need an SAT or standardized test result, an English proficiency test score, and for some of the schools, you will need a letter of recommendation. Now, what does some standardized test results mean? They would usually refer to the US system because we do not have a national test here that all K-12 students need to take. And in place of that, you have to either sit for the SAT or the ACT. Now, for the engineering schools, they will require an SAT with AP to include subjects of mathematics, physics, and chemistry. For those of you who have studied in an international school, if you have A-levels, you're just required for 3 or more A-level subjects. But for some schools, there is some subject requirement with math, physics, and chemistry. For international baccalaureate, also same, you just have to take note that there are some specific subjects that you have to take, which includes math, physics, and chemistry. For English proficiency tests, they usually accept TOEFL or IELTS, and you need a score of 95 or a 7. Now, if you actually have taken the SAT or the ACT and have graduated with IB diploma and have A-levels, then you're no longer required to submit the English language requirement. If you want more information, you can use the QR code here to access the Waseda University e-brochure, or you can just type in the search box Waseda e-brochure and it will lead you to the document. Also, you can search for Waseda IAO, that leads you to the international page of Waseda University. And last but not least, if you have questions, specific questions, or if you need clarification, you can always email admission@list.waseda.jp. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your patience. The floor is now open for questions, if you have any.
Hi, Ms. Ayan. Okay.
Hello.
For the Q&A portion, there's a feature. So would you like me to read the questions and you can answer?
I can see that. Yeah, I can see the Q&A. Yeah, okay. Do you have pre-med courses? Yes, they do. However, because pre-med courses are usually geared towards Japanese market, most of their healthcare courses are taught in Japanese. So with that, you will need J2 and J2 level. I'm not so sure, but all I'm trying to say is you need to be very proficient and proficient enough to study the course in Japanese. And of course, there's a Japanese language test that you will need to take to prove that you are proficient enough. Okay. Is there a maximum number of organizations, societies you can join as a student in Waseda? Actually, no, you can join as many as you want. I do know for a fact that that there is a Filipino student sort of club in Waseda, and I've seen some photos of them celebrating Christmas and other notable festivals or other notable Filipino celebrations they do there. Is it possible for a student to start their own organization in Waseda? Yes, it is, provided that it's not in conflict with any other society and it's very unique and it's not available. Of course, you are more than welcome to start your own club. Does Waseda offer on and off campus jobs? Well, Waseda will be able to offer on-campus jobs, that's for sure. But for off-campus, they will have a job center in campus, and the job center in campus will have information about part-time work that is available for students. And if that's not if that does not help you, then you can always resort to online sort of job search. The job streets of the world. I don't know what the Japanese version is, but you can always resort to that. Okay. Is it possible to double major in Waseda? Can these majors be from different fields? I'll have to get back to you on that. I don't have that information, but from the information that I have, it's only single major. Do you offer need-based or full scholarship? What financial aid can Waseda provide? There are, as I said, there are around more than 100 scholarships available in Waseda. As long as you are eligible, you can apply to them. The 111 scholarships are only geared towards international students. So that's why 40% of international students in Waseda actually can get some form of scholarship. Now, there are scholarships for living expenses as well. But most of the scholarships that are offered at Waseda are merit-based. So when it comes to need-based, then you will have to resort to the living expenses scholarships. I know for a fact that JASO is a Japan Student Association for International Students. They provide some allowance. I think it's around 500 to 600 US dollars per month to help you with your living costs. It's not a lot, but that can help, especially because you can work part-time in Japan. You can work up to 28 hours in Japan during term time and full-time when there's no school. So if you're on Christmas holiday or summer, then you can work full-time. Okay. Does Waseda welcome transfer students? That depends, because as I said, and I mentioned earlier, Waseda has around 800 plus university institutions. So if your institution has a partnership with Waseda about transfers, then you can. But having said that, if you come from a university who does not have a partnership with Waseda, you'll have to start from scratch. You have to start your first year all over again. Bearing in mind that the curriculum in Japan is different from the curriculum in the Philippines. So unless they have an institutional partnership with the university that you're currently studying or you intend to study with, then you will not be able to transfer. But if you mean transfer, like transfer again as a first year student, of course you're welcome. Yeah, but in terms of credit, that's the big question. Can students at Waseda take a gap year? Yeah, you can, I'm not too sure, but I'll have to look into the specifics, but some of the students are allowed to take gap year of a year. And then after that, you'll have to go back. So it's, I think, a maximum of 1 year, but don't quote me on that. Just give me time to clarify that with Waseda. But I know for sure that they allow gap years. Would you have any information on the passport and visa requirements for studying in Japan? Not so sure what you mean, but as soon as you get an offer from a Japanese university, the university actually applies for your student visa. They initiate the process on your behalf. So most of the application is done on the Japan side. There's not much financial documentation required if it's for a university study. Unlike if you study for language school, then there's a lot of financial documentation required. But for university applications or university student visas, then most of the application is done over at the Japan side with the university. And once that is done, they will send you information about how you can schedule an appointment with the Japanese embassy here so you can have your passport stamped. I hope I was able to answer your question. Does Waseda offer dorms or housing? Yeah, if you want, I can go back to the slide. Sorry, just bear with me. There I go. So yeah, there are 3 dormitories that are available for students studying at Waseda. It is not required of you to live in any of these dorms. You can choose to live co-share with another student in an apartment, or you can even do homestay if you want. But as for the accommodation facilities offered by Waseda, they have 3 options. 2 are walking distance. One is 9 minutes train ride away. The 2 that are walking distance are more expensive than Wish. So there's 500 rooms in WID and around 200 rooms in Krevia. Okay. Oh, does Waseda offer campus tours for prospective students? Yes. If you let us know, then we can actually prepare for that, to have some, as either a student ambassador or someone from the international office will meet you and tour you around the campus. Now, if a physical visit is not possible, then there are open days that the university run different times during the year. All you'll need to do is join them. And yes, the open days is like an open house, so it will include a virtual tour. I hope I was able to answer all of your questions. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to type in. I'd be happy to answer them. So yeah, we already have quite a good number of students who are studying in Waseda, and they come from local K-12 schools, and they're doing very well in Waseda. Not all of them are from the international schools. Good number is from K-12 as well. And even the graduates from K-12 were able to receive scholarships. And if I remember correctly, one student from St. Paul was not even an honor student, but her grades were good enough for a 30% scholarship. And she also got a scholarship from JASO for her living expenses, plus the fact that she can work part-time if she chose to.
Miss Diane,
Hi.
I personally have a question because
Sure.
I'm also like curating my college list, and I'm so
Mhm.
leaning towards like the international relations degree in Japan, and I just wanted to like ask like how are the programs there, like the internships offered, and you also mentioned that you guys have partner schools, so if they also can provide students like internships and other opportunities as well.
I'll have to get back to you on internships, but of course, yes, international relations is, I would say, a specialist course in Japan. There are only very few courses that are taught in English, and it's limited to international relations, engineering. They don't even offer a course in English in business, I guess. But I guess, yeah, their specialty seems to be sort of like international relations. And as you can see, some of the partner institutions here in Waseda, they're Ivy League or Russell Group. So if you go to an Ivy League, sometimes you can get an offer, but you can't afford it because the tuition is around 60,000. Yeah, you get 50,000 scholarship, but still 30,000 US dollars a month. At Waseda, it's 3 years. And if you want to study a year in Yale or in Cornell, it only costs another 10,000. It's your usual tuition fee in Waseda that you pay for, and you get to study for a year in one of the Ivy Leagues. So I think it's the best of both worlds, especially if you're, you're not financially able to afford, 60,000 just tuition alone. And you pay, and you have to budget another, 40,000 or 20 to 30,000 for living expenses. So that really, breaks your bank account a lot, for me. But there are, of course, some people who, yes, not problem, we can afford it. But for those who are looking into value for money, I guess Waseda is actually a good choice. And of course, there's a stay back option. Once you get your Japanese language to a good proficient level, you can apply to Japanese companies or multi-companies in Japan. And you can stay as long as they will sponsor you. And as I mentioned earlier, their starting salaries usually around 250,000 pesos a month. You can't get that in the Philippines. So if you look at value for money, like I don't know, how much is it in LaSalle nowadays? 250,000 a year. But the best salary you can get is from a call center at 50,000 pesos a year. That is if you can get at the best call center, and it's still a call center. So if you look at the units of investment versus the rewards, then you can see that your ROI is actually better in institutions like Waseda. You pay 10,000, you have access to alumni of 8 prime ministers, 10,000 CEOs, and whatnot. And then you get a good starting salary. Your network has just become extremely large and extremely useful. And yeah, the world's your oyster.
Oh, thank you so much for answering my question.
Mhm.
I also have like a follow-up question. I'm really interested in learning more about like the student life in Waseda. So like, and also like the, I guess like number of classes a student can take in a day. And I think
Yeah.
that it's dependent on the different majors, right? But is it possible for like students to like set up their own class or take up their own classes if ever?
In terms of putting you in touch with one of the current students in Waseda, I just did that for a potential student next year. I was able to get her in touch with the student from St. Paul who is now studying in Waseda and is doing very well. You can always do that. In terms of classes, I'm not so sure. That's now very detailed. I only know sort of like, I know a lot about Waseda, but I don't know that detail. So you have to email me so I can pass you on to the person who can answer your question. Yeah, but I think what's useful for me to share to some students today, sometimes when you look at your universities, you fail to take into consideration your capacity to afford the university. I mean, it's already, you're assuming you will get the scholarship, etc. And when you don't, you just feel disappointed and you stop, you just trash all your study abroad dreams away because of that rejection. You should explore the space more because there's a lot of pathways available that will enable you to achieve the same quality of education and degree, and it's not as expensive.
All right. Thank you so much for answering my question again, Miss Diane.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure if there's gonna be more questions, and I think the presentation was very informative also. So I think that addressed a lot of our attendees' concerns. So if ever we can give like maybe around 2 to 3 minutes if
Yeah,
any
sure.
questions pop up, and then if not, we can end the session if that's all right.
Mhm. That's fine. It's no worries. It's been a long day for you. It's been a week now, right?
Yes, it's been quite eventful. So yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. So yeah, I was just trying to share because I have parents calling me sometimes, like, my daughter got into UBC, but they don't offer scholarship. Sorry, University of Berkeley, California, not Canada. University of Berkeley in California, and they can't afford the 50,000 scholarship, sorry, the tuition. No scholarships offered on the first year, so there's nothing else. If you can't access the scholarship from the university, then there's nothing else you can apply to. So I hope they haven't stopped there because yeah, they could actually access community colleges. It's the same, but you pay less. You pay only like 5,000 per sem, so 10,000 also US dollars per year. You do an associate degree, and then you transfer. So in your first 2 years, you only spend 10,000. You save up. You work part time. You can even take a gap year and work for a year after associate degree. And when you can afford the UC Berkeley tuition fees, then you go back, study again.
That's quite insightful, and like it's also like my first time hearing of that too. I feel like like it's also difficult for students to take that option considering like there's a lot of time that could be potentially wasted, especially since financial aid is very difficult.
And money, yes, and money. And I've been in this industry long enough to know that the standards of education in first world countries are just world class. When they say that a college offering associate degree has the same value as the first 2 years at UC Berkeley, it's true. And they have government agencies who check on the colleges as well. So the college is actually designed for local Americans. In the past, when they started, they're designed for local Americans who are unable to access high university fees. So they made access to the first 2 years affordable, therefore the birth of colleges. So when they started recruiting internationally, then they found out that they can actually make money off it. So they started recruiting internationally. So that's why whatever is offered it is actually a right offered to Americans, but it's also a right offered to international students. And actually, if you're grade 11 completer, you can already start your associate degree. So if you're one of those who who's wanting to graduate as fast as they can, you don't have to graduate K-12. You can access an associate degree in a college in the States at grade 11. They will give you a high school diploma, and they will give US high school diploma and associate degree diploma after 2 years. And you can choose to work for a year, take a gap year, save up, and then pursue whichever Ivy League you have an offer from.
That is okay. That's personally mind-blowing. Like I had to digest that information. So technically, students can like after grade 11, they have that extra year of grade 12, but are not required to
Nope.
grade 12. So they can have that year to really save up for colleges.
No, if you're a grade 11, you can then transfer on to a US college, no problem. They don't need a high school diploma from the Philippines or grade 12.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I just took all of that information in, and I think our attendees here also digesting that information if they
Yeah, I know it's not the prestige of, oh, my son's at NYU or my son's at Yale. Yeah, but the end sometimes justifies the means. Maybe you didn't start there, but you'll end up there. And in your certificate in Yale or in NYU, it doesn't say finish the last 2 years of the degree in NYU. It's the same one as the same student will receive who started year 1 with them and paid 60,000 a year. So there you go. Yep.
Wow. I'm
Mhm.
I'm really amazed. I'm so amazed.
So that's why, I really want to put out so much information out in the space, because I know some of the students, they just target the ones that sound familiar, like for Canada, UBC. Not everyone can get accepted in UBC. And besides, UBC is 40,000 Canadian dollars a year. You can start with another smaller university, like maybe Queen's earlier in Canada, and they would probably charge half of that, 20. And if you really do your research, there's even a website that's designated to explain about the British Columbia transfer system. So in anywhere of the colleges in that list in British Columbia, and that includes UBC and other top universities, their first 2 years are transferable. So if you took that first 2 years in a small college or in a big university like UBC, it's the same. It's the same quality, it's the same courses, it's the same grade. So I know that concept is not the same here. How many students from PUP, for example, can readily transfer to LaSalle? Almost impossible, right? But in British Columbia, it just depends on your grades. If your grades are good enough for UBC, of course you can transfer. Doesn't matter which college you're from. It doesn't matter if it's an unknown college, but if you're part of the British Columbia transfer system, you're considered equal. It's uniform. And the good thing about colleges is because they have small class sizes, they're small, you get more support. At UBC, they don't care. If you flunk your first semester, you're gone. There's 10 more, maybe 20 or 100 more waiting to get in your seat. So if you want more support just to cope with that, because it's a different education system, it's a different style of teaching. I'm sure some of you will struggle. Not all of us are star students. So, some of you will need that extra support. So you can get that support from small colleges. They probably know you by name. UBC, they don't. It's large lecture rooms, teacher, has so many students.
I see. Very thankful for your insights and for also sharing with us after this Q&A. I think we might have to wrap up our session though. So
yeah, sure. It's
right.
okay. Thank you. Happy to share the information as well.
All right. So I'll be giving my outro. So
sure.
Thank you so much, Ms. Diane, for being with us today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing so much information about Waseda University. I'm sure our attendees will also be considering applying, and I'm also considering as well. So to everyone here, if you're interested in staying with touch and even learning more about Waseda University, I'll be sending again the Linktree interest form in the chat box.
Mhm.
So feel free to just scroll down to the appropriate day and find Waseda University's name there. And that concludes our session for today. A big thank you once again to our speaker, Ms. Diane, and to all
Thank
our
you.
joining us. So that's all for day 6 of our college fair. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the last day of conference and the college fair. Thank you all for attending.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye. Thanks.